Funding for the Iowa Girls High School State Softball Championships is provided by...
The path to greatness starts early. The Iowa Farm Bureau believes in Iowa's youth and their pursuit of greatness. That's why we're proud to be the title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. Each student's effort is important, and when one rises, we all rise to a better Iowa.
Fairway, along with Nabisco, Frito-Lay, and Sara Lee, is a proud sponsor of the Iowa Girls Sports Championships. We congratulate all the schools and student athletes participating in this year's Girls High School State Softball Championships. Fairway, proud to care for the places we work and live. By Musco Lighting, the sports lighting specialists, providing lighting systems for you, your project, and your community. Mid-American Energy and their Energy Advantage programs are dedicated to increasing the awareness of energy efficiency in Iowa's homes and businesses. Information is at midamericanenergy.com. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service. Remember a statement about it's deja vu all over again. Yogi Berra said it right, and he was talking about us today in Fort Dodge. The tarp went on for the third time, came off for the third time, right before our third game between the Clarksville Indians and the Kee Hawks of Lansing. It's the Class 1A championship game in the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union, Iowa Farm Bureau State Championships. Hello, everybody. Paul Yeager alongside Laura Leonard. We are underneath the bleachers, protected for now.
Thank goodness.
Thank you for waiting through this delay. And Laura, this is a game, speaking of delays with both of these teams, we'll get to that in a moment, but these are two teams that hit the ball a lot.
Boy, in this tournament, they've really done a good job at the plate. Both teams averaging double-digit hits. Kee averaging 14.5 hits in their two ball games. Clarksville averaging 17.5 hits. So look for a lot of balls to be hit to the outfield in this ball game. Kee looking to repeat as state champs here today.
Kee set a record for hits on Monday in their quarterfinal. Clarksville broke the record this morning when they finished. Clarksville, this is a game that went until 12:47 this morning, and they're back at it here today at about 4:15.
And they welcome the rain delay. I think they got a little extra rest, but they're ready to go. They're a very young team, have not been here, experienced this. We'll see how they react in this situation.
All right, let's meet the teams.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Harlan and Hazel Rogers Sports Complex in this 1A state championship game between the visiting team, the Clarksville Indians, and the home team, the Kee Hawks. Let's first of all meet the non-starters. First for the visitors from Clarksville. Number 3, Brandy Gerritsen. Number 4, Kylie Smith. Number 9, Katie Sterling. Number 19, Allison Essink. Number 23, Mackenzie Bloker. And number 25, Annika Nelson. Your assistant coach for the Indians, Kimberly Wedeking. And now here are your starters for the Clarksville Indians. Leading off and playing shortstop, number 5, Cheyenne Behrens. Batting second, doing the catching, number 7, Bethany Nagan. Batting third, the designated player, number 24, Ainsley Lovren. Cleanup hitter for the Indians, the right fielder, number 8, Michaela Hollub. Batting fifth and doing the pitching, number 1, Corey Wedeking. Batting sixth at second base, number 6, Chloe Ross. Batting seventh in left field, number 10, Bailey Myers. Batting eighth in center field, number 15, Janet Borchardt. And batting ninth, the first baseman, number 2, Emma Poppy. Your third baseman, number 12, Chelsea Capper. Head coach for the Clarksville Indians, Katie Wedeking. Now let's meet the non-starters from the home team from Kee. Number 1, Michaela Peters. Number 5, Laura Kelsch. Number 6, Christina Dybert. Number 7, Elena Rolfs. Number 8, Meredith Gruber. Number 11, Mackenzie Hawes. Number 13, Macy Manning. Number 17, Heather Mooney. Number 18, Ella Strong. Number 19, Ashlyn Seitz. Number 21, Jenna Rathwish. Number 22, Alexis Johnson. Number 23, Madeline Gruber. And your manager, Emily Bensing. Your assistant coaches for the Hawks, Ellie Cooper and Julie Welsh. Now, here's your starting lineup for the Kee Hawks. Leading off, doing the pitching, number 10, Kendra Cooper. Batting second in center field, number 20, Nikki Wood. Batting third at shortstop, number 16, Michaela Walliser. Cleanup hitter for the Hawks, the third baseman, number 4, Courtney Cooper. Batting fifth and doing the catching, number 15, Chloe Severson. Batting sixth at first base, number 3, Katie Brennan. Batting seventh in left field, number 14, Annabelle Dybert. Batting eighth, designated hitter, number 9, Casey Welsh. And batting ninth, the right fielder, number 12, Sydney Strong. Playing second base, number 2, Claudia Mathis. Head coach for the Kee Hawks, Liz Hill. Ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to the home plate area. The umpires for this contest, as assigned by the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. At first base, Mr. Gary Wax. At third base, Mr. Jim Doyle. And calling the balls and strikes this afternoon, Mr. Phil Kudrin. We waited a couple hours, but now it's time for championship softball.
If you tell them to play the game at 2 in the morning, I think they would have enough energy to do so, and we hope we have enough energy to do so at that point. It's now time for the lineups. We have seen the introductions. You've seen some names and faces, but let's look at the defense for the Kee Hawks in the outfield. Annabelle Dybert in left, Nikki Wood in center, and Sydney Strong is in right. At third base, Courtney Cooper. At short is Michaela Walliser. At second is Claudia Mathis. At first is Katie Brennan. The battery today, Kendra Cooper. And the catcher is Chloe Severson. Kendra Cooper gets the start. She pitched earlier in this tournament in the quarterfinal. Her sister Courtney pitched in the semifinal. It's kind of a mix and match. Who are you going to get? And this time it's Kendra.
Well, and it's a good mix and match. I like the way that they use their rotation. They're very comfortable with it, and it's worked out really well for them.
And what will be the order that they're facing from this Clarksville Indians team that pounded out 24 hits last night? There's a look at Liz Hill talking to her team for one final pump up to get them out onto the field. Let's take a look at that Clarksville lineup. It's a young one, and it is a good one. Cheyenne Barron leads off and plays center field. The catcher, Bethany Nagan. The designated player, Ainsley Loverin. Michaela Hollum is the cleanup hitter and playing right field. Corey Wedeking, the pitcher. Chloe Ross, Bailey Myers, Janet Borchert, and Emma Poppy. Janet had the big 3-run homer sometime around 12:30 this morning. In the bump, in the circle, Kendra Cooper. There's a look at her record, 19-1 on the season. An ERA, a microscopic .58. And Laura, you like that walks to strikeout ratio.
Always like that. You don't put a lot of runners on. You don't put your defense in a position where you put some pressure on them by putting those free passes on the bases. And so if you can strike out hitters and not put a lot of runners on, you're doing your team a very big service.
And you think about keys to the ball game. We talked about hits in the open, Laura. What is Clarksville going to have to do?
Well, they need to reduce the number of errors, and they had seven errors in that semifinal game last night, and so they've got to knock that down, and they need to be aggressive at the plate. That's what got them back into the ball game in the semifinals. They were first pitch hitters, and they got up there and smacked the ball. That started big-time rallies for them.
And for Kee, what do they need to have to win?
What they need to do is they need to control their emotions. They've been here. Sometimes they get a little too high. You got to get down to the right level. If you get keyed up too high, you might make some errors, and then they need to make some adjustments at the plate. They feel like they're going to see some good pitching, maybe some of the best pitching they've seen since they've been at the tournament, so they need to make those adjustments in game at the plate.
Clarksville will send to the plate to begin this game, which is just under 2 hours late in starting. The first pitch is a strike from Kendra Cooper to Cheyenne Behrens. Behrens, the shortstop, is an 8th grader, and she is what Coach calls the key player.
You look at this team and you look at that roster, and it is so young up and down that lineup.
Ground ball to Walliser is handled, and the first batter is retired. There's one away here in the first. That'll bring in Bethany Nagan.
But even though they're that young, they're here playing for a state title. So, you know, sometimes when you don't know what you don't know, you just keep playing through things, and I think that was last night's ball game was an example of that, because they just kept knocking out the hits. They got down, they'd be down by 4, they'd come back, get within 2, get down by 4 again, and finally got a couple of big home runs to put them over the top.
You don't know what you don't know. Is that a second Yogi Bearism in the last 10 minutes?
That might be.
Swung on and missed. Nice pitch there from Cooper. And Nagan is even at a ball and a strike. On the season, Bethany's a .324 hitter. And she is one of the veterans. The junior ropes it off of the pitcher's foot, fielded by her sister. Courtney gets it off of Kendra's foot, and there's 2 away.
I always like it when watching games and they say, if you're scoring at home, that one goes 1 to 5 to 3, because that was a hard hit right back up the middle, bounces off the pitcher, goes to sister over at third base, and they get the out.
First pitch is swung on and missed to Ainsley Lovren, the designated player, .378 on the season, 25 runs batted in. So much to get to in last night's game. I mean, the thing about it, Laura, is it went on and on, but it was such a good game, even as late as it was.
Well, it was one of those where you just didn't want to leave because you were afraid you were going to miss something. There was so much action, and there were so many things that happened that you just kind of shake your head and you went, wow, this is an interesting game. It was a fun game. People stayed around, and Clarksville now looking at a chance to get a state title, but the way Cooper's throwing right now, it's going to be tough.
Lovren goes down swinging, and the Indians go 1-2-3 in their half of the first. And it's kind of hard for a team when you get up so high to turn around and come back into the field, but this is the defense that is going to be on the field for Clarksville. In the infield, Emma Poppy at first, Chloe Ross at second, Cheyenne Behrens at short, and Chelsea Capper is at third. In the outfield, Bailey Myers, Janet Borchert, and Michaela Hollub, left, center, and right. The battery is Bethany Nagan behind the plate, and Corey Wedeking on the hill. And a freshman, 180 pitches last night. I asked if her arm is made of rubber, but it has an arm with a lot of good pitches.
Well, and her sister, who is the coach, said, you know what, she gets stronger as she goes. And it always seems like their second and third games of their tournaments that they played this summer, she's just gotten much, much better as the team has gone on.
She's a cross-country athlete. This feels like cross-country weather a little bit.
Yeah.
And here is the lineup that she's going to have to deal with. It's a great hitting one. Kendra Cooper, Nikki Wood, Michaela Walliser. The cleanup spot is Courtney Cooper. Batting fifth is Chloe Severson. Katie Brennan, Annabelle Dybert, Casey Welch, and Sydney Strong to round out the order. So there's a little bit of family in these two teams. As Wedeking, you hear the name Wedeking, the head coach, the first base coach, and the pitcher, all sisters. And for Kee, you've got two sisters, and then you got a couple of cousins as coaches. Liz Hill, the cousin of the two Cooper girls that are on the field, and then there's another Cooper girl that is an assistant. And that's Ellie. Digging in first is Kendra Cooper, the pitcher today. 180 pitches, though, Laura. That's kind of what softball has become sometimes. You have to throw a lot of pitches to get through a tournament.
Well, and the way that the two teams were hitting last night didn't matter what you threw. I think those hitters were on point. They were seeing the ball very well. And it's just one of those games where after the delay, they came out loose and free swinging, and they were knocking the ball around the yard. So both those pitchers last night in that semifinal game had to throw a lot of pitches.
Swung on and ground foul down the third baseline in front of the Kee dugout.
But for Corey Wedeking in the 2 games here in this tournament, she's given up 12 hits in that first ball game in the quarterfinals. She gave up 16 hits in that semifinal game last night. So her defense has kept her in it. The bats have kept her in it. She's pitching to contact, so this Kee team can certainly hit the ball, so defense needs to be on their toes.
The 2-1 is on the way. Change up, misses.
3-1.
Clarksville down 5 last night. I think they were down 4 twice.
Got some home runs, and a team that doesn't hit a lot of home runs. Got 3 big ones last night.
Popped up towards right. It's angling foul, and it goes out of play. Giving chase for the Indians' defense is Michaela Holland. Now she's getting a redirection on where she needs to go. If you take a look at that outfield, that center cam gives you a good chance to see where those batters and that battery sets up, if they're going to go in or out on her on this 3-2 pitch. Wedeking misses low, not by much.
Not by a whole lot, but that puts the leadoff runner on, and I would assume we'll get a courtesy runner maybe. A lot of times for your pitchers and your catchers, you get the courtesy runner, but they are not going to go to the dugout to do that.
Nikki Wood, the junior, playing center field today. She looks to lay down the bunt, and it's a strike. In the quarterfinals, Wood was 2 of 5. That's .444 on the season. Again, showing bunt. You can see the defense coming in a little bit at third, and it slapped away foul into the screen. And Wood is now down in the count, 0-2.
0-2.
Well, you want to move that runner around, and you want to be the one that scores first, and especially in a day like today where there may be some delays. Again, you want to be on top, and you want to be the one to strike first.
Wedeking trying to find her grip and a dry spot, throws it, popped up.
And that could be an issue for both pitchers today in this ball game. Got to try to keep the hand dry, and then as the game goes on, you're not going to find a lot of dry spots on your uniform. And so we may see them bring some towels out and make sure that they have a towel hanging from the back of their uniform so they can dry their hand, but that could be an issue.
Wood's now able to work the count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. There's a runner on first. That is Kendra Cooper, who got there on a walk. You know, we thought about having trouble with the grip because of the sweat, not because of the rain today. That's fouled away, and live to pitch another one, or see another pitch.
Yeah, we thought certainly there'd be a lot of humidity and that sweat would be the issue. But not today. It's going to be the raindrops that the player's going to have to try to keep the ball dry, and especially when the ball gets hit to the outfield, the outfielders are going to have to be very careful when they grip it and they throw it back in.
2-2 misses, and the count goes full. So now Wedeking already throwing a lot of pitches.
Hey, Nikki. Here we go, girl.
Still nobody out, only the second batter of the game for Kee, and that's going to miss, and there's 2 on. Back-to-back walks for the Kee Hawks.
Now good patient at bats by the...
Okay.
And now we're going to see the courtesy runner. Michaela Peters will go run for Kendra at second.
Sorry, I stopped in the middle of my sentence, but we do have the pinch runner or the courtesy runner now once you get the runner in scoring position. So makes sense to do that, get her in there, and base hit will score her.
Michaela Walliser, in the semifinal game, she had a home run. In the quarterfinal game, she was 2 of 5. She's got a smile on her face because there are ducks on the pond. Chance for Kee to strike early here. Nobody out, 2 runners on. The pitch. A called strike from our home plate umpire, Mr. Phil Cudrin. Gary Wax is at first and Jim Doyle at third, as assigned to the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union for this Class 1A state championship game at Hazel and Harlan Rogers Complex in Fort Dodge.
Yes, you did.
She offers at the bunt, and still advancing is the courtesy runner, Michaela Peters. She goes to third. So the sacrifice halfway works.
Well, there's indecision as far as base runner goes, what the catcher was doing, and it was kind of a stop-start on that steal to get over to third base.
Swung on, fouled back into the screen.
We're on out, huh?
Coach Hill said that the team has got to stay within themselves when they're playing their game. Not try to do too much, let the game come to them. Walliser, she can hit the ball, so you just want her to make contact if you're Coach Hill and a fan of Kee. The pitch, outside, and it's 1-2.
Well, and Coach Hill kind of felt like they might have been a little too high, too pumped up yesterday in their semifinal game, and they all had to kind of come together and bring it down a notch.
1-2, swung on and missed. Strikeout. And the first out of the inning, and it's the first strikeout for Wedeking. Kee played in the first game of the tournament Monday at 11 o'clock on this diamond. They did not play until last night at around 6:30, finished up about 8:45, just before we had our lightning delay last night. Popped up between the pitcher and third, and it's a play made. Behrens fields the hit from Cooper, and so Cooper is retired. 6-3, and the runners only move up to second and third now.
Oh, and I think Cooper got jammed on that, and that was far enough over the head of Wedeking that Behrens had to come in and field that. But Peters over there running at third just was playing it very cautious, didn't want to get thrown out at the plate, and they still have the opportunity to knock in two.
Chloe Severson, the batter. There's the runner at third. That is Peters. There's Severson at the dish, who's ahead in the count, a ball and a strike. That misses low.
Well, I think you know that you want to keep the ball down to this team because they are good hitters, and that's what they've been trying to work, is down and away. Haven't really seen anything up in the zone from Wedeking.
The 2-0 is in there for a called strike. The 2-1 on the way from Wedeking. Swung on, fouled off. Back behind the screen right in front of us.
Would be a big boost, I think, mentally for Clarksville if they could get out of this one.
Yeah.
With the runners in scoring position, the big bats that they've had to face, and been able or be able to get out of it. I think that would give them a little momentum on their side.
2 on, nobody out, and now there's 2 on with 2 out. 2 strikes, ground ball to second. They might just get out of this inning, and they do. Ross over to Poppy. The Kee Hawks leave 2. We've played 1. There is no score.
As long as they're close to the chin, but not.
And that is a good way to start if you're Wedeking, trying to calm those nerves. I mean, yes, you're on a big stage. You've played there before last night in the semifinal game, but it's just not quite the same. And this is the 2017 Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union State Championships as presented by Iowa Farm Bureau. And joining us now is Terry Seahuson. And Terry, thank you so much for standing out in the rain. I hope it's not too wet for you down there.
No, just a little dampish is all, and we'll take the rain at this time.
We will. The farmers need it right now, especially in many areas. But, you know, Farm Bureau is involved. They are the sole title sponsor. Why are they?
I think the opportunity came a number of years ago when the Iowa Farm Bureau actually became the sole sponsorship of the boys, and then the girls followed suit. It's a great partnership. We really appreciate the opportunity to showcase our organization and also support our youth today as they are our future of all Iowans.
And Terry, you know, it's raining today. There's a whole lot of softballs being used,
Yep.
But you're going to have some other softballs that these teams are going to be able to take home.
That's correct. Each of the girls that participated in the softball tournament this past week received a commemorative softball. Each team member is asked to sign them, and that makes a great commemorative item for those girls post-high school into their adulthood, something they can put on their mantle and show to their kids and their grandchildren in the future.
All right, Terry, thank you so very much. That's Terry Seahuson from the Iowa Farm Bureau, the regional manager up here, and thank him from Farm Bureau and their sole title sponsorship there, and they also help support youth and education, and they're helping this ball game come to you into your living room, wherever you may be watching from around the world, online or watching us on the air. Glad to have you here. I know it's probably messed up your DVRs if you've taped it today.
Messed up mine.
You're getting all sorts of games, but we're playing right now. That's the fun thing about live sports. You just never know.
That's right. That's why we keep showing up and coming to these things, because it's fun and exciting, and really love the way that these kids participate and compete.
Michaela Holland is batting now for Clarksville, and she's at 1 ball and 1 strike, a 400 hitter, as you just saw a moment ago. A 9th grader. A lot of 9th graders on this field today for Clarksville. The pitch from Cooper. Oh, nice off speed. Just kind of floated it up there on the upper zone, but it wasn't a full floater changeup that we sometimes see.
No, but it was just enough off speed to get her out on that front foot that she could not hold up. And you talk about the youth of this team for Clarksville. They have 3 8th graders, 7 freshmen on this team, 3 sophomores. So they're very young and maybe ahead of schedule where they thought they might be, but great experience for them to be playing in this game, and maybe chances to repeat if they can pull the victory off today.
Now, both of these teams, I remember you and I, Laura, sat here a couple of years ago with Kee and watched them play. And last year, Kee's in the state title game beat a very good Akron Westfield squad to get that first team title. Looking to be just the 15th team in girls' history to go back-to-back. That's what's on the line for them today.
Well, and I think that's why they have to keep those emotions in check to be able to pull off that little bit of history to repeat and go back-to-back.
That's the 2nd strikeout of the game for Kendra Cooper. And there's 1 away here in the 2nd. You know, when you come up after such a late night, you know, that game ends at 12:47. You're not really done with your post-game commitments until about 1 o'clock. You're probably not even in the vans before 1:15, back to your dorm by 1:30. That's floated right there behind second, and Walliser makes a nice grab behind the second base.
Tough play for Walliser, as she had to know where second base was, because that was floating right over the top of the bag, and she had to make sure that she knew where it was, keep her eye on the ball so she didn't stumble over that.
Swung on and missed by Chloe Ross. She scored 4 runs in that semifinal game last night. Well, when you score 15 runs, somebody's got to score them.
Somebody's got to score, but that just tells you she was getting on base. And so she was getting on base ahead of the big hitters, and they were knocking her in.
There's a look at the Clarksville head coach. Katie Wedeking, and that's a strike 3 called. The third strikeout for Kendra Cooper, and the Indians go 1, 2, 3. They've gone in order through the first 2 times at bat. And earlier this week, the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union gave away the Jack North Award. This year's recipient is Benton Community's Amber Pfizer. The award recognizes a high school senior receiving the most all-tournament votes from the previous state softball tournament. Amber pitched all of her team's 21 innings in the 2016 tournament, allowing just 2 hits the entire week in Fort Dodge. Amber just finished her first season at the University of Minnesota, posting a 14-0 record with 83 strikeouts. And we saw Amber last year for Benton Community playing in the title game, and they beat Davenport Assumption. Assumption will be in the game that we hope we're going to have at some point yet tonight and not this morning here on Iowa Public Television. Keep an eye on our social media feeds. We'll try to give you an update on when those other games will be starting. But Pfizer, another great season, or a good first season at Minnesota.
Tell you what, she was impressive in the college ranks and really did a nice job for the Golden Gophers up there in Minnesota. And you could just see that, see her arms. She's got a lot of strength in those arms, and she is going to be a very good pitcher for the next 3 years.
Had a chance to talk to her former superintendent earlier this spring, Gary Zittegren, and he had said that I asked how Amber was doing, and he just said, oh, she loves it. It's going great. It also helps when you win the Big Ten.
Yeah, it does, and I think there was a little controversy about some of their seeding and where they were placed within the not the super regional, but the first rounds of the tournament, and so there was some people that were not real happy about the way that came about.
The 0-2 on the way from Wedeking. Popped up high in the air towards center. It is not going to be caught past the diving center fielder, Borchert, and into second with a stand-up double is Katie Brennan. She gave that a ride.
She did, and she just really slapped at that ball and lifted it out there. Great effort out in center field by Borchert. A little disappointed that she couldn't get a glove on it, but standing at second base, Borchert, or excuse me, Brennan, to lead off the inning.
And we have, never mind. We are now going to have to clear the feed. We had lightning. I kind of thought I saw some behind right field, Laura, and that means it is 4:49. So we started this game about almost half an hour ago, and now we're going to have to sit for another half an hour as we wait through a mandatory 30-minute lightning delay. I know that was their concern earlier.
We're looking at 30 minutes minimum.
So we've only played 1.5. We're in the second, by the way. So we will at least be gone for half an hour. So come back in half an hour to Iowa Public Television here, and we'll get you back into Class 1A. No score from Harlan Rogers. This is the third game of the day, hoping to get them all in. We'll be back in just a little bit here on Iowa Public Television. Stay tuned for the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union State Championships. Coming right up. Welcome back to Fort Dodge. It's time for high school softball after a 57-minute delay. It's time to play softball. We're still here. It's the Class 1A state championship game between Kee and Clarksville. The rain is gone. The lightning has moved to the east, and we're ready to play some softball. Paul Yeager alongside Lauren Leonard and the crew here of Iowa Public Television. Glad to have you here, and let's get you caught up a little bit. Katie Brennan had a double right before the lightning and is at second base. Annabelle Dybert is at the plate for the Kee Hawks. She is the 7th place hitter for Coach Liz Hill's Kee Hawk team. On the mound for Clarksville is Corey Wedeking. Glad to have you here. Thank you for your patience today. Both those of you watching on the stream, on the web, on the air, in the truck. Pitch is offered, and that's a strike to Dibert.
Well, they certainly had a long time to discuss the strategy, knowing that they had the runner on second base coming back when they started this ball game up. So Dibert couldn't get the bunt down, has 2 strikes on her now, and is probably going to have to hit away.
The 1-2 is upstairs, gets away, and Megan, I'm not sure she knew immediately where it was. It came right here into the back. You can see in the back of that last shot we just saw, there's a lighter dirt and the regular red dirt. The lighter dirt is that quick dry material. It's much more sawdusty. You can see it standing there in the on-deck circle behind Dibert there at the plate. And that's where we had some of the most wet. They had a tarp on, and that pitch is out of the zone. The count goes full. So Dibert works the count full. There's a good look at the dugout inside where the Kee Hawks were penned up, as were the Clarksville Indians, waiting out this delay.
A lot of togetherness in those dugouts for the last 50 minutes or so.
Swung on and fouled out of play. Jim Winter and his crew here at Harlan and Hazel Rogers Complex, incredible job. They put that tarp on and off 4 different times today.
I think they earned their keep, and hopefully that's the last time they have to do that here today.
And we know the weather is very strange across the state today. The 3-2. Past the third base glove, and that first run's going to score. Coming in for Kee is going to be Katie Brennan, and it's 1-0 on an RBI single by Annabelle Dibert.
Initially, she was asked to lay down the bunt, could not get it done. Steps right back up to the plate after a couple of pitches and knocks one out into left field to get that first run of the ball game. So good at bat by Dibert.
Casey Welch will come in. There's a look at Dibert at first. She's on with nobody out. Pitch from Wedeking is in there for a strike. Home plate umpire, Phil Cudrin. Gary Wax is at first base. Jim Doyle is at third, resetting you a little bit here of what's been going on. Corey Wedeking. Bunt is shown, and it's going to say no foul, and that just got away from the catcher, Megan.
Yeah, just got away from her, and a little indecision by Dibert over there at first. Saw the ball on the ground, started to go, and then thought better of it.
Scoreboard says that was, okay, now it says a 1 ball and 1 strike. That one misses again.
Good eye, Casey.
And you wonder how this rain delay has affected both of these teams, and who's going to be a little bit more loose coming out of it. Now, this is the second time Clarksville's had to go through a long delay.
And there's a pitch in by Wedeking for a called strike. You know, Clarksville had the big delay last night, but both of these teams had to sit through an hour delay this morning. Everything got pushed back. We started an hour late today. And then they had to sit through the rain. Swing and miss. Casey Welch down. That's the second strikeout for Wedeking of the game.
Good job of battling back by Wedeking. Look at that ball, just, it started up and then it just dropped down a little bit, so.
Love that look behind center field to get a good sense of those pitches.
Yeah, Welch thought she had a beat on it, and that ball had a little bit of movement to it.
First one misses high. Sydney Strong, 350 on the season. Her first at-bat of the game comes here in the bottom of the second. 2 runs already. 1 run in already for Kee here in the second. And that's in for a called strike. Brennan's the only run to score. Kee is a batter away from flipping over their lineup early on in this contest.
They put runners on in the first inning, got them to second and third, and Clarksville was able to get out of that. with no damage, but then they get that leadoff runner on, able to move her around and get that first run. So again, if Clarksville can get out of this with just giving up the 1 run after the lengthy rain delay, then they've got to be feeling pretty good about themselves.
Ground ball to Ross. She fields it and throws over to first to get strong. Ross had a couple of challenges last night in the game against Sigourney that extended that game, but she's been 2 for 2 on her attempts today. And so Wedeking will come in, and the lineup goes to the top with Kendra Cooper.
Yeah, Ross seems a little bit more sure of herself. Maybe was doubting herself a little bit last night.
Line shot to left center. That is on a rope. That hits the fence. Cooper's in. 1 run will score. And Kee takes a 2-0 lead as Dybert scores on the hot shot double by the pitcher, Kendra Cooper.
No, you're right. That's a frozen rope. That was on a line, hit the fence on the fly.
That's the kind of thing that puts a hole in a fence.
It does. I mean, that had enough power behind it. It just couldn't get up high enough to get out of here, but it sure had the distance. Fence got in the way, but going to get that courtesy runner in for Cooper here and Peters.
So Peters back in. She ran back in the first, and she got, when Cooper got to second, and then she was stranded there as Kee left 2 in that first inning, and they bat here with 2 in and 2 out here in the second. Taking a called strike is Nikki Wood. Wood on the season, 444. Her last at-bat was a walk.
We talked a little bit about it in that first game. They knocked out 23 hits in that 18-1 victory. In the second game, only 6 hits, but won 7-3. So they certainly were very productive with those 6 hits. But the 23 hits sets a record for the 1A in the state tournament play. So they are certainly capable at the plate.
Chopper to first is fielded, and the tag is applied by Poppy. That was about the only play because she was not going to get back to the bag to beat Wood, and Wood is down on the 3 unassisted play. But the Hawks get 2. They leave 1. We've played 2 full innings finally at 5:55.
Swinging at the bad pitches, okay? Especially the changeup. Be ready. If it's low, let it go. Make her pitch to you. Let's go.
Score on 3. 1, 2, 3. Score.
We're going to look here at Kendra Cooper, and you heard Coach Wedeking say, if it's low, let it go. This is Kendra Cooper in slow motion. Gets quite a ways towards the plate on her motion.
She really does, and look at that. Look at how far out she gets in that extension, and then even after she lets it go.
So Cooper, she helps herself on the double. Got an RBI, and now she's got to turn around, go back out and pitch. Her motion's a little different too on the hip turn, isn't it, Laura? I mean, she kind of twists more. It's a little more of a centralized twist than a whole body twist.
I think just the way that she comes off that rubber and just the arm motion lends to that. However, you know, whatever's comfortable for a pitcher and the way that they push off that rubber, it sometimes twists their hips. Some people come straight forward, but I think you get a little bit more power behind it if you get a little more twist out of those hips. And not being a pitcher, not knowing all the techniques, but it certainly would seem to me she's throwing pretty hard. You can hear the glove pop, and she comes right at you because she really gets good length in that circle off the rubber.
And trying to get her footing established in this little... The center circle was covered by that tarp, but the field was taking some water before we had our rain delay. Cooper facing the bottom 3. Bailey Myers, a .380 hitter. Janet Borchert, who hit a home run last night to win it for Clarksville, and Emma Poppy due up. And if anybody gets on, we go to the top of the order, and Cheyenne Behrens.
Going to be trading out balls quite a bit here. I think the next few innings as it starts to dry out, but balls that get hit to the outfield or into this diamond dry area around the dugouts, that are going to switch those things out to get them dry and dust it off.
Cooper just misses on that pitch. And Myers has new life at 1-2. Swung on and missed. Fourth strikeout of the game for Kendra Cooper. One away brings in Janet Borchert. Borchert last night a 3-run home run sometime around 12:35, which was about the time Liz Hill left for Kee. She was watching that game, scouting Sigourney and Clarksville. She wasn't sure until 12:35 who she was playing.
Well, credit to Coach Hill for coming back out and being here to scout the team that they were going to play in the championship. Needed a little information on them, and that's what all good coaches do, come out and do their homework so they can relay it to their players and get them prepared for a big ball game.
She wasn't going to sleep much anyway on that game, on the quick turnaround, and neither did Katie Wedeking, as you see there.
But they have benefited a little bit from some of these rain delays and the late start. So see if they can take advantage of that.
She told us this morning, that the big thing would be to get her team as much rest as possible as the pitch from Cooper misses, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And sometimes you think that, yeah, you need to get your rest, but you are so fired up and so excited to be in the championship.
Well hit ball, straight away center, off the wall, and the center fielder, Nikki Wood, gets it back in, but not before Borchert has a 1-out double.
Borchert swinging a hot bat here in this tournament. Just holds the hands back enough and drives it right up against the fence. Woods thought she had a beat on it, but it was right up at the top of the fence, and it all came together too quickly, and Wood couldn't put her glove on it.
Foul ball off, or a foul ball on Emma Poppy here, trying to lay the bunt down. You know, Borchert on the season's a .345 hitter. She went 3 for 6 last night. And oh, by the way, she's an 8th grader.
I know it's crazy with this team. The Indians just have so many young kids. 3 8th graders, 7 freshmen.
Popped up bunt into the fence. Actually, that went all the way up into the stands. Two 0 here in the top of the 3rd. Clarksville batting. Runner on second. Strike 3 called, and Poppy is called out on strikes.
Really good placement with that pitch by Kendra Cooper to get the strikeout. And you have to dig down deep. You gave up the double, the hitter before, and you have to come back and be able to make something happen, and she does, and she works quick in that circle. Once you step in, you have to be ready, because she is ready to throw.
Many people appreciate that quick nature and moving to the plate, trying to keep the pace of the game going.
I think everybody appreciates that. I think the fielders appreciate it, because you can be ready, be on your toes, and know that if something comes to you, you're going to be ready, have those hands ready, the feet ready.
Cheyenne fouls off that one right there in front of the plate. She'll readjust the batting gloves, the leadoff hitter. Grounded out, back in the 1st. Clarksville had gone 1-2-3 and 1-2-3 prior to the 1-out double by Borchert. See what they can do against Cooper. Fouled off, out of play.
Barron's doing a good job of battling up there, going with that high pitch, trying to take it the other way. Just couldn't get it in the field of play. But you got to look for the off speed now. Keep the hands back, be patient at the plate.
Let's see if we can take a look here from behind, see where the catcher lines up. Yep, she's outside just a little bit. Line towards the second baseman. It's going to get through, and we're going to send in a run for Clarksville. Play the plate on time. Down to second, and safe at second base is Cheyenne Behrens with an RBI single to pull the Indians within a run.
It's exactly what she got, was the off speed. She waited, punched it to the right side, and Mathis tried to stab that in the air, couldn't knock it down, and taking some chances on the base paths. That's what you have to do to win ball games eventually. Maybe take a chance here and there. And I kind of felt like Behrens took a chance, and she got lucky over there at second base.
It is ruled an error on Mathis. And it gets away from the catcher. Severson struggled where it is, and all of a sudden, Behrens is at third base. Still 2 out. Bethany Nagan digs in. She's up 2 balls, no strikes. On Cooper, little life for Clarksville. The 2-0 is low. It's now 3-0. So all of a sudden, just like that, Laura, this inning has changed.
All it takes is one little play here or there to change the momentum and flip it. And right now, it's flipped over to the Clarksville side.
Taking all the way is Nagan. She had a 3-run single last night that helped spark things for Clarksville late in that game. A lot of people had multiple RBI hits. Popped up, out of play.
She had 4 RBIs in that ball game last night, and 1 double, 3 for 6. So another hot hitter at the plate and trying to take advantage of this situation to tie the ball game up.
The junior looks at it, swings and misses, and ends the inning for the Indians, but not before they get a run to pull within a run. Clarksville scores on the play. They leave a runner. Now, you would think, Laura, that Coach Hill would be the energy, listening to that, would be the energy instigator for that team, but she says it's the other way around.
Yeah, we asked her last night, because she's a very excitable person. We've seen her on the diamond before, and she gets very emotional, gets very excited. And I said, does your team play off of you? Because she said she thought the team was a little too jacked up last night, and she was jacked up, and she goes, no, I play off of them, and I have to read what they're doing, and we feed off of each other. And so it's a kind of a nice little partnership that if they get too high, I try to bring them down. If I get too high, they try to bring me down. We have to find a happy medium. And so it's a good little relationship that they have, and they've made it work because there's a lot of excitement coming out of that dugout.
Katie Wedeking is in the circle for Clarksville, and here she is pitching at a little slower speed. What do you see here, Laura?
She certainly gets a long way off that rubber, and a big leg drive as well. Keeping contact just barely with the ground off that drag foot.
Well, and that has been an issue for Wedeking this season. In the first couple of regional games, she had 11 illegal pitches. Then she had 15 illegal pitches. Coaches that play Clarksville have been a little concerned that maybe it could be every pitch. And so that's something the umpires are watching. And we've seen illegal pitches all week, not just on Wedeking, who is ahead on Walliser here. Now 0-2. That's a tough thing for the umpire to find and call.
It's very hard unless it's really, really blatant. It's a very tough thing to call, but they're watching. And if they don't see anything that is out of the ordinary or something that where they see they're gaining an advantage, they aren't going to call it.
And Walliser is out, and that is the 3rd strikeout for Wedeking in this game, and that'll bring in Courtney Cooper, the future Luther Norse. Gonna go play for Renee Hartle up there in beautiful Decorah, Iowa, which is actually going south for college. when you're in, or almost. It's very close. They're in the same parallel, Lansing and Decorah.
They're certainly going to get a good one. She's very talented, can play different positions, can swing the bat.
Cooper on cue, knocks it into left field for a base hit. There's a runner on with one out to bring in Chloe Severson. Play made there by Bailey Myers to get it back in. And Myers playing in left field there, Laura. That's not where the water came from the tarp. The water all came from center, but no standing water that we can see, and I'm sure there's hardly any water standing out there at all. It's probably a little spongy is all.
Now, these fields are in great shape.
Ground ball, that's going to get between short and third. Barons dives, but just not enough.
It looked like Barons took a couple of steps towards second base, thinking that there might be something on, maybe a hit and run or something like that. And she was cheating more to the second base side, and when that ball gets put through that 5-6 hole, she didn't have the opportunity to get back, lays out, tries to knock it down, couldn't get it.
Katie Brennan scored the game's first run last inning. Bats here in the third. That pitch is outside. And already the Kee Hawks have 5 hits and we're in the third.
Well, we talked about that in their 2 games, averaging a little over 14 hits a ball game. So they certainly are a potent lineup and a very tough one to face for a young pitcher in Wedeking.
Fouled out of play. Courtney Cooper's at second. Chloe Severson at first. Katie Brennan at the plate. There's a look at Cooper. She had that rope to left. Off speed, same spot again. They're going to hold Cooper at third. But the bases are loaded with 1 out. All 3 of those hits in the same spot, Laura. Is that why is that?
Well, I think they're timing the pitching, and I think they're finding a pitch that they like, and they're turning on them, and they're driving them to left field. So they've got some timing things down, and I think we heard one of the players yesterday, and I can't remember, we talked to a lot of them, but I talked about hitting, and she goes, hits are contagious, and they are. And so when you see a teammate get a hit to start off an inning, then everybody sometimes follows suit.
Dybert had the RBI back in the second. Sees 3 of her teammates on base and would like to get rid of them and send them home. Think of this order. You know, we talked about in the last game, 7, 8, 9 would be the difference. Here, 7 and 9 are big hitters for Kee, Dybert and Strong. And the 8-hitter for Clarksville is Strong. So both of these teams have very good lineups, top to bottom. As now, Dybert is a pitch away from driving in a run on a walk. 3-0 is going to be the count.
She had an RBI single the last time at bat, so maybe could get an RBI off the walk.
And then misses ball 4. So Cooper, Courtney scores.
They're setting up on the inside part of the plate, and there was no way that Dybert was swinging the bat. She had it on her shoulder the entire time and looked at ball 4.
Casey Welch struck out in her last at-bat. She swings through that one. Welch is one of those seniors. Courtney Cooper, Sydney Strong, the other 2. They're in the regular lineup. Off speed, hits the umpire's left leg. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure Nagin's gonna be chasing that ball here at the backstop.
Keeping everything low, but Kee is really waiting on for those pitches that are up, just like that.
Line to right, that's gonna score a pair. Severson home, Brennan home. Dybert to third. Welch to second on an RBI single.
Well, and good backup by Wedeking. Keep that ball from going to the backstop. Otherwise, another run might have scored. But these Kee Hawk hitters are being very patient at the plate, waiting for that ball to come up in the zone. They aren't going after those low pitches. They're making Wedeking get it up in the zone, and they're making contact.
Head coach Katie Wedeking just goes out to talk to her sister and the team.
Just like pulls my pants down.
Wedeking, played for Clarksville. Her sister played for Clarksville, went on to play college ball in Waverly. And then their sister is in the circle. So, and there's a look at Kimberly. She calls the pitches. Just finished pitching, did pitch for the Knights at Wartburg. And their dad is really the one that got him into the spirit of pitching. Their dad was a fast pitcher. And brought, and Katie said, I think Dad brought us when I was, 6 months old to the Diamond. And he sometimes works as their pitching coach. Wedeking's offering is fouled away by Sydney Strong.
Well, it's nice to have all of that in the family. You can work on things in the off season, and you can get some pointers and some tips, and it's I'm sure makes for some good conversation around family dinners.
The 1-1 from Corey, low. It depends on the family, because some families say the sport stays in the field, the gym, the diamond, and it doesn't come home to dinner. And then some,
right?
We'll talk about it all the time. The 2-1 is swung on and missed. That was a nice pitch.
It was, and she needs to locate that pitch a little bit more and start hitting some spots. And I know she's getting hit hard in this inning, but got to start hitting some spots, work the corners a little bit.
That one climbs the ladder, makes the pushes the count full. There is a base open. Dybert's at third, Welch at second. Sydney Strong bats here with 1 out in the third. Kee already plated 3 runs this inning. Chop towards the right side. It's going to be a tough play. Ross gets it over, but not in time, and not before a run scores. Dybert gets the 6th run.
Runners get a move up 60 feet. Strong hustles down that first baseline, and it was just such a slow roller that Ross had trouble getting to it in a timely fashion to make the throw to first.
And Ross will be charged with an error. That's the first error on the Indians today as Kendra Cooper comes in. Kee threatening to blow this game wide open. Cooper roped it the last time, 6 feet from being out. Can she do it again?
Well, I think they're going to be very careful with her, knowing what she did and the kind of damage she did her last at bat. You do have a base open. They aren't loaded now. You could be careful and go ahead and give up the walk to load them, but still only 1 out. That puts a lot of pressure on the defense.
I'm sorry, I could only hear, I couldn't see. All of a sudden, it's gotten brighter out. I don't know what that is in the west.
Well, I think it's called the sun.
Oh. And so now these players are going to have to deal with, again, changing weather pattern. Cooper fouls it off right. It's been sunny all week. It's been hot. It's been in the mid-90s. Heat index pushing 100 for most every game, Monday and Tuesday. And yesterday was pretty warm. But that's what softball is in Iowa. It's played in the summer.
Well, and every player gets used to it, and they know that when you start at the end of May, you're going to get cold, sometimes rainy conditions, and you have to be prepared for that. And then you're going to get some extremes. So you're going to see all kinds of weather if you're playing the summer high school softball season here.
The 3-2. Hit towards second. Tags one, throws to second. Double. No, safe at first. They get the out. on Strong. So Strong is erased. And that would be a fielder's choice, right?
Correct.
And we'll have a courtesy run. Let's look at this one again from our third base camera. Ross picks it up.
And right there, Strong should have stopped and made Ross come to her.
Yeah.
To allow Cooper the time to get down to first base. She should have just stopped and made her come to her, or make the decision on whether do I tag her or do I go to first. She's safe anyway, but sometimes you can avoid a double play by just stopping if you're that lead runner.
And it was close at first. And they go through the right side again. Another hit, and going to third is the courtesy runner, Michaela Peters. And the Kee Hawks have batted around here in the third. So the 10th Kee Hawk will come to bat here in Michaela Walliser, who started the inning with a strikeout.
Well, right now, the timing is really good for Kee. They're seeing the ball very well. Runners at the corners, and Kee is not a team that steals a lot of bases, so even in this situation, I don't know if you'll see the runner going in wood from first to second base.
7-1's our score. Kee in the lead. Off speed, fouled off into the screen behind home. And already a whole bunch of hits for the Kee Hawks. 8 hits. 7-8-1 for the Kee Hawks. Michaela Walliser at the bat.
They're close to their average of what they have hit in the first 2 ball games. We talked about it, over 14 hits a ball game. They're already at 8 here in the third inning.
Hill, a native of Cedar Rapids, played at Mount Mercy. Do you think she had any energy when she played?
I'm going to say just a little bit, just a little bit. We asked her last night. She was all fired up and excited and high-fiving people, and we interviewed her. I said, now, are you excited about getting it? And she goes, what? Yes, I am. Are you kidding me? An opportunity to repeat, and with this team, absolutely.
1-2 gets away from Nagin. And going down to second is Wood. So now the force is taken out. Runners at second and third with 2 outs. Walliser with a chance here. A single could score a couple more.
Oh, this Kee Hawk team is a team that has 4 seniors on it. And they would like to repeat. And they're like other teams we have seen here. The Kee team has seniors. We've seen a lot of teams that don't have a lot of seniors on their ball team, and so this is one that has come up together, worked together, and they certainly want to go back-to-back and send those seniors out on a high note.
The 2-2 is swung on and missed, and Walliser strikes out. Strikes out for the 3rd time this game, and the 4th overall, and Kee leaves 2 more runners here in the 3rd. We're going to step away and we'll be right back.
IPTV Passport offers more than 1,000 hours of on-demand streaming content, anywhere, anytime. Shows like Downton Abbey, Mercy Street, American Experience, Nova, Nature, Secrets of the Dead, and many others. IPTV Passport is a Friends of IPTV member benefit for donors contributing at least $60 annually or $5 per month as a sustaining member to receive access to an exciting and extended library of PBS programming. PBS and IPTV content is still available for free on pbs.org, IPTV.org, and PBS apps. IPTV Passport simply provides our members prolonged access to PBS content. Visit IPTV.org or call 800-728-2828 to activate your IPTV Passport today.
Coach Liz Hill of Kee High is joining us now here. And Coach, get the bats going. What happened in that inning to score so many?
I think just staying focused and taking good cuts at good pitches is kind of the plan, and I thought the ladies did a really nice job that last inning doing that.
How did you handle that rain delay? What did y'all do in there?
Just stay loose, stay loose, stay loose, stay loose. That's the big thing.
A little dancing?
Yes, of course.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you so much.
It's Coach Liz Hill, head coach of the Kee Hawks, and we're ready to start action again here in the 4th inning. Simple and short, but you know what she's saying.
Well, she's a very focused person as well. She has her team focused, but she's also the head cheerleader on that team too. She's out leading cheers before the ball game, getting the fans fired up. So she does a little bit of everything for her team.
Ainsley Lovren has the first pitch come by as a ball. Lovren struck out in her last at bat, which I think was like an hour and a half ago.
Well, and you know, you mentioned that, and it's a long delay for Cooper having to sit on the bench. I know she got up to bat and ran the bases, but you have a lot of time in between your last pitch to your next pitch in an inning like that, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get back into a rhythm.
Popped up right side, but Chloe Severson makes it look easy, and that retires Lovren.
And you asked Coach last night who she was going to go with. She wasn't sure which Cooper sister she was going to throw. They're both equally effective, and decided that she was going to go with Kendra, and she's doing a very nice job of mowing down these Clarksville hitters right away.
And if Courtney would have been the one pitching instead of Kendra, Courtney was not telling us anything about what she pitches.
She wouldn't give up any information. We asked her 3 different ways about what she likes to throw, what we can look for, and finally one of us just said, we just kind of need to know what we're looking for, and so we don't really sound stupid on the air. And she goes, oh, well, in that case,
I throw this,
I like to throw this, this, and this. And so she helped us out in the end because she didn't want us to sound silly on the air.
Oh, no. And Holub strikes out, and that is strikeout number 7 for Cooper, for Kendra Cooper. So we didn't get a chance to ask Kendra what she likes to pitch, but she pitched after the quarterfinal game against Montezuma. She did have 13 strikeouts that game, if that means anything. And that's a ground ball to Walliser. And all of a sudden, Clarksville goes down 1-2-3 in the blink of an eye. That is how you move the game along. We'll step away after this for the bottom of the 4th.
Hello, I'm Molly Phillips, Executive Director and General Manager. We at IPTV are committed to our mission to educate, inform, enrich, and inspire Iowans. We transform just $1.35 of your federal tax dollars each year into educational programs for kids, trustworthy public affairs shows, local arts and sports programming, and so much more. We believe public television is an essential investment in Iowa's families, communities, and future. If you value the programming you find here, I invite you to visit our website, iptv.org, to join our I Love IPTV campaign. Share what public television means to you on social media with the hashtags ILoveIPTV or ILovePBS. We appreciate your support and thank you for watching Iowa Public Television.
Courtney Cooper, Chloe Severson, and Katie Brennan to come to bat for the Kee Hawks, who are leading 7-1. A big 5-run third has changed the context of this ball game. But with Clarksville, Laura Leonard, I don't think you ever feel like they're out of it.
I think they showed that last night in their extra inning game, and they came back from being down several different times. So they have the hitters in their lineup. They just need to keep this game where it is right now and get themselves back to the plate.
Off speed gets Courtney Cooper to swing early.
All right, Courtney will take one, girl.
And she's down, no balls and 2 strikes.
Come on, Courtney, drive it to where it's pitched.
Courtney, one of 3 seniors on this Kee team. Swings and misses on that one. And that's number 5 for Corey Wedeking. There's 1 away here in the 4th.
Good approach by Wedeking with Cooper, and showed her a little bit of everything of what she has. Off speed, went to the rise ball, had her to swing through the top of that one.
And Severson looks at a strike. So Wedeking not backing down. She's coming right back out with some focus.
She's gone to that changeup a couple of times here early in this inning. Seems like she has a little bit more pop on those pitches too, bringing it a little bit harder.
Corey, also involved in cross country, works on that endurance of her. Her sister, the head coach, Katie, said last night that really helps her when the game gets going. Because I asked, is her arm made of rubber?
Right. Threw a lot of pitches last night, and Coach Wedeking said, no, she just gets stronger as she goes. And when they play those tournaments, those weekend tournaments where they have maybe 3 or 4, possibly 5 games, she just continues to get stronger game after game. So they weren't terribly concerned about the number of pitches that she threw yesterday.
Severson fouls that one into the screen. Kee leading 7-1. Bottom of the 4th. The 3-2. Popped up, we'll do it again.
Severson was an all-tourney performer a year ago in their championship. Looking to try to repeat that honor as well here in this ball game.
Lifted high in the air to left, but it's playable for the left fielder, Bailey Myers. There's 2 away in the Kee high 4th.
She's got that off the end of the bat. Otherwise, that was, she just kind of unloaded with that swing, kept those hands in tight and really let loose. Extended those arms, but off the end of the bat didn't carry very much out to the outfield.
Brennan swings at the first pitch, pops it up to the right side toward the second baseman, Chloe Ross, who makes the catch. And Kee goes 1-2-3 here in the 4th. That's a good inning for Corey Wedeking.
And that's exactly what you want to do.
When someone gets on the back and gets on base, it seems that everybody starts getting on. Okay? Somebody be a leader, step up.
Just like last game. How bad do we want it?
Chloe, you're
And that'll be, you gotta, like we say, hits are contagious. So the pitch count, Wedeking's thrown 95 so far, and Kendra Cooper has thrown 47. And that's, I believe that.
Yeah, and they've made Wedeking work in the circle, and they had that big inning, and that's where most of her pitches came, was in that 3rd inning where she gave up all the runs, and otherwise Cooper's been pretty solid and pretty efficient with her pitches.
And Katie Wedeking is making her way over, and we'll talk to her in just a moment there. You just heard her talk to her team, and I think she can hear me now. And Coach, we just caught a word of what you said to your team. You say hits are contagious, right? Isn't that what you're trying to tell them?
Yeah, definitely on our team, and with the past 2 games we played, it takes 1 hit for us all to get on the bats.
Well, your sister had a pretty good inning right there, 1-2-3. What'd you talk to her between innings about?
Just that there's no pressure in this game, and just throw her hardest, because her last couple of games, you know, they've been getting a lot of hits on her, and to just hit her spot. So.
And I have to ask this, what did your team do during this delay before we came back out? Did you stay loose in there?
Kind of. We sat in the dugout, and then as soon as we had this last night too, so as soon as they told us it was go time, they got out there and started stretching.
All right, thank you, Coach. Appreciate the time.
Yeah, thanks.
Katie Wedeking, the head coach, Clarksville, a native. She's a teacher, though, in the North Tama district. And then she comes back home, and her sister, the assistant coach, Kimberly, teaches in New Hampton. So Clarksville ends up being kind of in the middle between the two of them on their road trips.
It's a lot of dedication, and I think we see that out of a ton of these Iowa softball coaches. They are dedicated to this sport, and they're dedicated to their teams, and they just do it right.
Chloe Ross is a freshman, batting .403. She struck out back in the second, bats here in the fifth. Ross, Myers, Borchardt, I'm sorry, and if anybody gets aboard, Poppy. So it's freshman, and then Myers, a sophomore, and Borchardt, a freshman, and another freshman, and an 8th grader waiting on deck. We're going to see Clarksville a lot, Laura.
Yeah, they're a good ball club, and they've got a great group of girls to build around. They're young, and they're learning as they go, and for them to make it to this point here in the season to a championship game, you know that that's going to bode well for them as they go on in their careers, and we may see them here again next year and the year after that, and possibly the year after that.
And there's a chance they're going to play Kee as well, because Kee also has some youth in other spots. They have a much more balanced lineup. You know, they'll graduate 3 very good seniors, but you bring back Kendra Cooper as a pretty darn good, maybe all-state pitcher.
Yeah, they have a good nucleus as well to build around, and they're going to be able to rebuild and reload, and they're building a very strong tradition at their high school.
We already know that Kee is pretty darn good at baseball. Softball is making a case to be there as well. Fouled off right side. Myers struck out back in the third. And Kendra goes back to work.
Mathis is really playing over towards the first base side of the field.
Are they thinking that she'll be behind on a pitch?
Well, yeah, I think that's what they're thinking. I mean, you set your defense according to what your pitcher's going to throw, and boy, I'll tell you what, if any of these hitters can just get it right back up the middle, it's going to be an easy base hit. But you could see on that swing a little behind. They couldn't catch up with the pitch, and so, yeah, you adjust your defense over.
Myers strikes out, and that's the 9th of the game for Kendra Cooper. She is feeling it now. Clarksville having a hard time getting the bats on these pitches. Borchardt comes in. She had a double back in the third. Watches the first pitch go by. Trying to get something started for this team. Nice off speed there.
Well, and you get so keyed up to try to catch up with that fastball and that ball up in the zone, and then when she comes back at you with the off speed, it's just not fair.
Coach Hill calls the pitches for the Hawks. What'd she call this time?
She called a strike.
She called a strike. That's exactly right. And now Borchardt is facing a 2-ball, 2-strike count. The pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3, and Cooper strikes out the side. 10 on the game. The Indians are needing some help. Kee is coming up.
Playing outside can be full of action, creativity, and exploration. On the next episode of the Kids Clubhouse, we'll get up and head out to discover some of the awesome activities we can do outdoors.
Here we go.
We'll play games, breathe in the fresh air, and take a good look around us as we have lots of fun outside. Join in the adventures with us on the next Kids Clubhouse.
Watch it Friday, Saturday, or Sunday on Iowa Public Television.
This month in Passport, your on-demand library of the best of PBS.
American Epic is more than a music documentary. It's about music that's had such an incredible impact on so many people.
We are all fighting in our own way.
All the foods that drive people crazy sends pleasure signals to our brain, making them irresistible.
These and other shows are available on Passport. Become a member of this PBS station, sign in, and start streaming today.
Kee leads 7-1 here in the 5th. If they can get 4 runs, we'll go home early. Clarksville's Katie Wedeking is going to try to have something to say about that. Let us play a little more.
She had a nice inning the last inning, got him 1-2-3 with a strikeout in there. Looking to do the same kind of thing here in this inning. When you're down by as many runs as Clarksville is, you got to make quick work of the opponent.
Batting is Annabelle Dybert, the junior left fielder. Puts the bat on the shoulders. We get a great look from behind the pitcher there from the center field cam. And that one just kind of drops and goes out of the zone, but Dybert didn't want it.
It was off speed, and that pitch was really working for Wedeking that last inning. Trying to utilize it again here in this inning.
The 2-1. Ripped to third off the glove of Capper, and she throws it late on the throw and throws it away. And it's going to go into the camera well, so that means Dybert will stay at second. She would have gotten to it regardless if the ball would have tagged her or not.
Tough play down at third base, and
that's at least, yeah, sorry, that's at least 1 error on Capper,
right.
Maybe 2, and it is 2.
Yeah, she knocked it down, it caromed off of her, and then on the throw it goes over into the camera well, and so 2-base error on Capper.
Kee recorded 23 hits against Montezuma on Monday. Trailed yesterday against Westwood. Came back to win 7-3. They scored in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th innings, and they score them a lot, and they've scored a bunch today. As Welch offers.
Isn't those 23 hits that a 1A record for the state tournament?
23 tied the all-tournament record, set the 1A record, tied it, and 18 runs also tied a record. The hits record was then broken last night by Clarksville. So Clarksville now holds the all-tournament and Class 1A hits record.
So a lot of offense we're seeing in 1A.
Yeah.
A lot of good hitters.
And Kee, they were only leading 9-1 going into the 7th. They were the visiting team on Monday against Montezuma and scored 9 runs as Welch strikes out. The 6th strikeout for Wedeking. Strong comes in to face Corey Wedeking. Good first pitch there from Corey. Strong grounded out back in the 2nd, got on base on an error in the 3rd and was erased while on the paths. The 0-1 floated in, swung on and missed. A little more off speed now.
Going to the off speed, and Strong keeps those hands really close to her body and then just kind of uncoils, and with that off speed just got fooled with it, swung a little too quickly out in front.
That one misses. The runner at second is Dybert.
neither of these teams really are base stealers, so you don't have to, I mean, you have to be on your toes, but not big threats on the base paths to swipe a base.
And that one fouls right down Radio Row here. Good thing there's a fence. Otherwise, that's going to be the need of a dental plan.
All those radio guys have good hands over there. They'd been able to glove it.
The 1-2 is swung on a miss by Sydney Strong. 2 away in the 5th. It's up to Kendra Cooper.
And you want to be careful here in this situation, and maybe the point where you might put her on.
Ground ball to third. It was not in time by Capper. And Cooper is again on base. And that's going to be ruled an error. The third error this inning for Clarksville. And they now are quickly ticking up 4 errors on the game.
Stay loose, stay loose. Here we go. She'll throw it back to you. Hey, nice job.
So we have a different runner this time, Laura Kelch. And Nikki Wood will bat. She would be the 10th run, and we need 11 to finish this game in the 5th. So we'll see what Kee can do. We'll also see what Wedeking can do, who winds and fires. First pitch strike.
Well, we've seen throughout the tournament when Wedeking gets in trouble, she digs deep and she's able to battle back, get some big strikeouts to get her team out of some problems.
That one's in the dirt. Good stop there by Nagin.
And those balls in the dirt, you just want to get down and smother them and keep them in front. And that's exactly what Nagin did.
Wood. And running is Kelch. She'll go to second, so now it's second and third with 2 outs. Base hit could probably score 2 more. Kelch is a freshman down there at second. And that's a called strike. Dybert, the junior, at third. And Wood is also a junior. Plays center field. The 2-2. Popped up right side, out of play. Caught in the stands. Nice hands by the Clarksville fan.
I think we saw last night one of those fans in the bucket hats used that hat to catch a foul ball.
And I don't know if he gets a sucker for turning that in or a piece of gum.
A little treat ticket.
Swing and a miss. Wedeking gets out of the jam. Gives her team a chance. We go to the 6th. As that is strikeout number 8. We are going to the 6th, but it was really back in the 3rd inning, Laura, where things got going for Clarksville. They finally got a runner on base in Borchardt. And then Behrens scores, drives in the run. And then on the other side, in the key half of the inning, it was Courtney Cooper. And then it was Severson. And that was just kept coming. The runs kept coming. Severson scored. Brennan scored. Dybert scored. So did Welch. All on good hits. And that's how we get to our 7-1 game here. 1-1-4 for Clarksville, 7-8-1 for Kee High.
Well, that was certainly the big inning for Kee as they were able to string hits together with a couple of walks in there and a fielder's choice. But that's what you do to make a big inning. Just base hit, and that's what they had. They started the inning off with a strikeout. Then they had 3 singles back-to-back, and then the walk that really kept that rally going.
Clarksville will send Poppy, Behrens, and Nagin to the plate. Cooper has pitched one above the minimum. I'm sorry, that's two above the minimum, sorry. First pitch is high and gets away from Severson.
And I think Clarksville is a team that now they need base runners, so they're going to look for ways to do it. They're showing bunt. They got to read what the defense is giving them and try to figure out how to get on base.
They said last night they knew that it was going to be a good pitcher, regardless of which Cooper it was, and knew it would be a challenge. When you're in the state championship game, it shouldn't be easy. You got to earn everything.
You do, and you just have to have that mindset that whoever's up the plate, somebody's going to take the lead for your team and start the rally. You're running out of outs. And I think if they could just get a couple of runners on base, that's going to get them fired up. We've seen them, and we keep referring to last night's game, but it was such a great game, and I know it lasted late, and it was fun to watch. But that was a team that was down for the count and kept coming back time after time, and all they need is a little bit of a spark.
And what Clarksville did last night was just peck away with 2-3 runs at a time, but they just haven't been able to push anybody across since the third. And they haven't even been able to get anybody on base since the third. So the fourth and fifth, Kendra just kind of mowed them down, 1, 2, 3.
And I think if you get somebody on it, I think everybody kind of breathes a sigh of relief over there in the dugout and go, okay, we've got somebody on. They do right now. And now you kind of start to feel some rumblings that, okay, we've gotten past the 1, 2, 3 inning. We got the good part of our order up. We got the top of the order up. We can make some noise here and climb back into this.
Clarksville is 29-2. Their 2 losses came, 1 to Union and 1 to Lake Mills. But when you look at the scores of their first 6 games, they only gave up 4 runs and scored in double digits in 6. Those first 6 games, they scored 12, 13, 12, 10, 12, 12. Coach said she didn't know how good their team was because they hadn't been close in anything.
Yeah, I mean, when you're blowing other teams out, you really don't know what kind of players you have until you get into a close ball game, and they didn't have that the first part of the season, and then they had a couple of close ones that the scores were a little bit lower, but this is a team that averages a lot of runs, and so they're not used to being in this position where only having 1 hit and 1 run.
The 1-2 is put into play to Kendra Cooper, who fields and throws, and Behrens is retired. And it wasn't until that Mason City-Newman game when Clarksville was trailing and was able to come back on Newman and win that game. It's a long time to wait to see how good your team is.
Well, if you come out with a victory, I think you can assess what you have when you get into a tight situation, and that's when teams grow together, when they get into a little bit of a situation, a little adversity, maybe some errors, giving up some hits.
Bunt laid down beautifully in front of the plate by Nagin. Gets Poppy to third. But you're going to need more than 1 run here at a time. That'll bring in your cleanup hitter, or your number 3 hitter, Ainsley Lovren. So we see that sacrifice goes down.
Oh, and Ainsley Lovren had a big 3-run homer last night, 3 RBIs, 4 for 6 at the plate. So she is a hitter that you want up there, that you know she can make contact, and 1 swing of the bat, she could give you 2 runs.
And what grade is she in? Yeah, she's a freshman.
Well, I think if you either guess 8th grade or freshman, you're going to be pretty close with this team. But I love it. I love the fact that these young kids are here and they're playing for the state title.
The 1-1 is high. We've seen young teams come to the state tournament. They don't usually play on Friday.
No, but you'd see them the next year,
yep.
Usually. They get that experience under their belt. They know what it's all about coming up to Fort Dodge, and then they set their sights on that goal for the next year and usually accomplish it.
They know that they don't want to be in that first base dugout on a game that is after 6 o'clock because that sun is pretty hard there, as we just saw the Clarksville players kind of feeling like they're in the direct sunlight. The 2-2 is chopped to the right side, and that's going to get Kee out of the inning. Lovren rolls it over, strands a runner. When we come back, Kee will have the middle of the lineup here in Fort Dodge.
Growing up wild is hard when you've lost your mom, but some orphans get a second chance at a wild life. Danny must build confidence. Neil needs a friend to help him grow. And a little sloth named Newbie battles pneumonia.
See it Sunday afternoon at 1 on Iowa Public Television.
See more of your favorite IPTV programs on YouTube. Follow Iowa Ingredient on Facebook. Connect with all our social networks by visiting iptv.org/social.
Iowa Public Television is Iowa's statewide broadcasting network. IPTV provides quality, non-commercial programming and educational services that make a difference in the lives of Iowans. As one of the last locally controlled media enterprises in the state, IPTV is committed to telling Iowa's stories like no one else can.
Back here in the 6th. Kee trying to close out back-to-back state championships. They'll face Corey Wedeking, who's about to throw pitch number 116. And Walliser looks at that one, miss. Kee has sent 29 players to the plate, 115 pitches. Each plate appearance, that's 4 pitches per appearance. That's how you get to 115 and you're only in the 6th.
Well, she is working hard out there in the circle, and again, you kind of go back to that 3rd inning where they turned the lineup over and sent 10 hitters to the plate. So you're gonna spend a lot of pitches in that inning alone.
And that one misses to Walliser. Walliser is a triplet. She's got 2 brothers that are on the baseball team, and they lost in their bid to come to state. Walliser with a home run in the semifinal, 2 for 5 in the quarterfinal. Lost her father earlier in the season. Now bats here in the 6th. And she draws a walk, gets on base for the first time tonight. And I say night because we're approaching 7 o'clock when we should be getting ready to start our 5th game, but we're still playing our 3rd game. So we got a lot of softball yet tonight in prime time on Iowa Public Television. Class 2A coming up next.
Time for folks to maybe get a little sandwich, a little supper, and sit in front of the TV and watch a little softball.
The ground ball is thrown to second, and it doesn't get Walliser, and then the relay throw to first to try to get Cooper is late. Gets away back to the screen. So the fielder's choice gets Cooper on first.
It was a slow developing play, and we're gonna get another runner in over at first base for Kee. I think that's Kelch again, isn't it?
I think it is. Her hair is over the back of her number. Yeah, Laura Kelch. Some teams have jerseys that don't have numbers on the front and just on the back, and when you have long hair, but Kee has them on the front. I just couldn't see the front. Nobody out. Runners at the corners for Chloe Severson here in the 6th. That pitch is high. Severson flied out back in the 4th. Scored the team's 4th run of the game in the 3rd after a single and grounded out back in the 1st.
Wedeking, a pitcher that averages a little over 8 strikeouts a game, does have those 8 strikeouts here in this ball game against Kee, but Kee has done some damage in between all of those strikeouts.
Severson ahead in the count, 2-1. Off speed, ripped into the front of the Kee dugout. Coach Hill, I think she said watch for the changeup.
Well, last time Kelch was on base, they sent her to second, and she did get the changeup.
That's going to be the delayed steal as Kelch goes down to second. So now they're second and third, nobody out, full count to Chloe Severson. 8 home runs on the season. The pitch. Lifted towards right, it's playable in foul territory, goes off the glove of Michaela Holub, and we'll all go back and do it again.
Had to go a long way to get underneath that one, and it just went off the tip of her glove, and would have had a tough time, I think, throwing out Walliser over there at third. She was tagging and ready to go, and I don't know if she would have even had a play at the plate.
Again, this one's going to get in front of Holub, and a run's going to score on the blue pit behind second between Ross and Holub. Walliser scores run number 8. And she went the exact same spot, Laura. Sorry.
Yeah, and a little looper, just not as far right. Can see Walliser ready to tag up in case that ball is caught. She's able to come in, and everybody moves up.
And the Indians have their own conference. And it looks like that Bethany Nagan is doing the majority of the talking there, the catcher. And that's usually what it's supposed to be, isn't it, the catcher?
They're kind of the unofficial captain of the infield, and because they can see the whole field in front of them, they call a lot of plays when runners get on base, and so she's taking on that leadership role.
Still nobody out. Runners at second and third for Katie Brennan. Brennan back to the pitcher. Wedeking looks, the runner back. Here comes the run, the throw, the play. Out! Kelch went late after Wedeking looked her back, threw to first. No! They're going to say she's safe at first. Or was she out? I think she was out.
Re-enter yet. Yeah, okay. 23 is going to enter for 14. Hey, be aggressive.
Yes, she's
out at first because there's now 2 on the board because she was standing at first.
Wedeking does the right thing. The comebacker looks the runner back, and then Kelch continues to go.
Yep, got her before she got the hand in. That was almost reminiscent of the slide we saw in the first game.
Yeah, I believe it was Macy Johnson that slid around a tag and just able to get the top part of the plate without being tagged.
And we have a pinch hitter now for Kee. Batting is Madeline Gruber, the senior. Gruber here with an 8-1 lead. Looks at an off speed. Out of the zone. So the runner at third is Severson.
Gruber, one of those seniors on this team that is going to graduate, getting an opportunity to get a plate appearance here in the state tournament title game. Doesn't play a lot, only has 56 at bats, so had a little bit of an opportunity, but not a regular starter.
Wedeking, a strike from getting out of this inning. The 1-2, out of the zone. You know, a couple of words to describe this Kee team. You know, call them hardworking, energetic, committed. I think we've seen all three of those.
I'd put focused in there too. This team is very focused and knows they're on a mission.
And now their mission is, we're 3 outs from a state championship. That is strikeout number 9 for Corey Wedeking, but she's not the only one who's been striking people out. Kendra Cooper has been doing the same as well. We looked at Cooper earlier. She struck out 1 in the first, 2 in the second, 3, she struck out the side in the third, 1 in the fourth, the side in the fifth. Didn't get a strikeout last inning. We'll see what she can do here in the 7th.
Every one of those pitches, different location, different spin to them, keeping these hitters off balance.
And so now, 6 innings pitched, 1 hit, walked 1, struck out 10. It's a great line in a state championship game. And with what Kendra has done at the plate, even today, she's been on base all 4 times. I think she's a lock for the all-tournament team. It's just a question if she's the captain or not. If I had to wage a guess, I would think she would be. 2 good pitching performances this week.
Yeah, I think with her performance here today and what she's done not only in the circle but at the plate, she's definitely going to be on the all-tournament team. Just we'll have to wait to find out if she will be captain.
We're just past 7 o'clock on July the 21st, 2017. The Clarksville Indians down to their last 3 outs. Kee high. 3 outs from a state title, from repeating as champs. Standing in the way is Michaela Holub.
Holub being aggressive, going after that first pitch, seeing if she can make some magic happen, getting Kee sleeping a little bit, maybe knowing that they have the big lead. Thinking that Cooper might lay one in there that she could drive.
Popped up, right side, converging, and calling off everybody else is Nikki Wood from her center field spot. She ran a long way to get that.
My goodness, she was playing deep, and she had the best look at it and had the speed and the momentum going her way and called everybody off and pulled that one in. And that's what good teams do. They communicate. Everybody was converging on that one, and Wood was the most vocal. You talk about catchers being the captains of the infield. Center fielders are the captains of the outfield, and you got to talk and direct traffic out there, and she did that time.
Corey Wedeking digs in. Fouls one off and down to her last strike. What a weird 24 hours for both of these teams. Playing semifinal games after a long layoff from their Monday game, come back on Thursday. Strike 3 is swung on and missed, gets away from the catcher. The play goes to third, and it's going to be safe. Corey Wedeking will reach on the strikeout. Drop third strike. Straight out of Little League there.
Well, and that throw was a little high from Severson, got Brennan off the bag. Couldn't get the foot down quick enough, and now they're trying to pick off Wedeking over at first, trying to make up for that.
First base coach saying back, back, back. The 1-0 to Chloe Ross is a called strike. Ross has struck out twice tonight. Many of her teammates have struck out.
Well, yeah, you look up and down the scorecard, you see a lot of K's on that scorecard, but Ross is also one of the players that had a big home run last night. 3 for 5 performance at the plate. One of those 3 hits being a home run for Clarksville.
One ball, 2 strikes. Kendra Cooper pitching to Chloe Ross. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Ross is down, and the Indians are down to their final out. And it'll be up to Bailey Myers to keep things going. 15 teams have gone back-to-back at the state softball tournament.
Well, Kee is going to enter an elite crowd if they can pull this one off, and they're 1 out away from being able to do that.
They would be the 15th if they can get it out here. And that catches a corner, and now the Indians are down to their last strike. Kendra Cooper, a strike away from a state championship. Swung on and missed, strike 3, and Kee high, twice as nice is the story in 2017. They're the state champions.
Well, it doesn't happen very often, and you had mentioned it, just the 15th team to be able to go back-to-back. And as you know, you graduate seniors, you graduate key players. It's tough to rebuild and reload, but Kee won it a year ago. They come back with a very strong team here again and able to win it in pretty easy fashion here in this late afternoon game.
A lot of smiles. They knew it was a hard road to get here. Kee actually lost their last regular season game to Center Point Urbana, and Coach called that a wake-up call. I think they answered it.
Yeah, she said, you know, it really wasn't a motivating thing, but it was more of something that got their attention, that you can't just show up and play. And maybe it helped them down the stretch going into tournament play, knowing that they dropped their last game of the regular season. You got to shore things up when you're going into tournament play, because we have seen highly rated teams get knocked off for one reason or another in tournament play and don't make it to Fort Dodge. So that was a very helpful teaching moment for Kee.
Hey, nice job, nice job.
Presenting Class 1A all-tournament team medals is John Frederickson, Webster County Farm Bureau member. Class 1A all-tournament team. From Kee, Sydney Strong. From Kee, Katie Brennan. From Clarksville, Bethany Nagan. From Westwood, Caitlin Martian. From Colfax Bingo, Amy Russell. From Akron Westfield, Bryn Van Eldik. From Sigourney, Autumn Barthelman. From Westwood, Alyssa Mendenhall. From Kee, Courtney Cooper. From Clarksville, Janet Borchardt. And your captain of this year's Class 1A All-Tournament team, from Kee, Kendra Cooper.
She had the tournament, Laura. A well-deserving all-captain there for that team. That's a good team. A lot of good players there. We'll see quite a few of them. Sydney Strong, Katie Brennan from Kee, Bethany Nagin from Clarksville, Caitlin Mardian from Westwood, Amy Russell, Colfax Mingo, and Van Eldick, Barthelman extremely fast, did everything she could last night for Sigourney. Mendenhall from Westwood, Courtney Cooper, Janet Borchardt from Clarksville, and Kendra Cooper from Kee. That's your all-tournament team. They're getting their pictures backlit by the sun here as twilight starts to kick in.
You know, last year Courtney Cooper was the all-tournament captain. Now Kendra Cooper brings another captainship home to the Cooper family, and you know, didn't really even touch on it, but she threw a one-hitter.
Participating player will receive a commemorative softball provided by Iowa Farm Bureau, title sponsor of the Girls Athletic Union. Presenting awards are members of the IGHSAU Board of Directors: George Tracy, Roger Francis, and Jean Berger, the Executive Director of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. Congratulations to the runner-up in Class 1A, head coach Katie Wedeking and the Clarksville Indians on an outstanding 2017 softball season. Congratulations. And your 2017 Class 1A state softball champions, head coach Elizabeth Hill and the Hawks from Kee.
That never gets old, to see the winning team go get the trophy. I could watch that all the time.
They hold back until the last minute, and then they rush the trophy, and whoever's presenting the trophy wants to hand it to them and get out of the way as quick as they can to let them celebrate.
That is a lifelong memory, especially when you win the state title game 8-1. We have 3 games in the books, 2 games to go, clear skies to the west and north. And it ends with Kee High knocking out Clarksville. Kee High back-to-back state champions. Coming up next, it's the Class 2A championship. For Laura Leonard, I'm Paul Yeager and the entire Iowa Public Television crew. So long from Fort Dodge. Funding for the Iowa Girls High School State Softball Championships is provided by...
The path to greatness starts early. The Iowa Farm Bureau believes in Iowa's youth and their pursuit of greatness. That's why we're proud to be the title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. Each student's effort is important, and when one rises, we all rise to a better Iowa.
Fairway, along with Nabisco, Frito-Lay, and Sara Lee, is a proud sponsor of the Iowa Girls Sports Championships. We congratulate all the schools and student athletes participating in this year's Girls High School State Softball Championships. Fairway, proud to care for the places we work and live. By Musco Lighting, the sports lighting specialists, providing lighting systems for you, your project, and your community. Mid-American Energy and their Energy Advantage programs are dedicated to increasing the awareness of energy efficiency in Iowa's homes and businesses. Information is at midamericanenergy.com. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.